There you go, Clara. Oh, what's this? The keys to the TARDIS. It's smaller on the outside. Yes, I know, that is a first. Oh, you've got R2-D2 on here. Oh no, Snowmen! Clara!
That's the way to do it.
I can't decide whether you should live or die.
Clara! Clara, no. I have had enough. I have had enough of losing people. Lost the Ponds and now lost Clara. Why did you do this to me? No time like the present. Oh, if only that was the exit for Clara, then the next few series would have been a whole lot better. Hello, my fellow Whovians and subscribers, and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I review the 2012 Doctor Who Christmas special, The Snowmen. We're walking in the air. Yeah, sadly not that Snowmen film. So, The Snowmen. Well, this is an interesting Christmas special because it's quite a different episode to the last five. This is definitely a sort of bridge episode between Series 7. Between part 1 of Series 7 and part 2 of Series 7. We obviously saw Amy and Rory leave the show in part 1 of Series 7, and after this we will get part 2 of Series 7 where Clara becomes a permanent companion. Well, not only that, we do have some changes within the show. We do have a different title sequence, we do have a different theme, Matt Smith has changed his costume, and of course we have a different TARDIS. So in a way, it does feel very disjointed. It does feel like two separate series in a lot of ways. But anyway, before we get to Series 7 Part 2, let's talk about the Snowmen. Brace yourself. This story obviously stars Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor, Jenna Louise Coleman as the new companion, Clara, and it was written by Stephen Moffat, again, God help me. So the plot of the Snowmen, not that there is one, but we'll, for the sake of my format of the reviews, let's just do it anyway. After losing Amy Pond and Rory Williams, the Doctor has retired to Victorian England, where Strax, Jenny and Vastra assist him. The Doctor eventually meets Clara Oswald and takes a liking to the young barmaid, who leads a double life as a governess. At the same time, a sinister plot is unfolding. Snowmen are randomly appearing around London, growing in size and power. All they need to take over the world is some human DNA in ice crystal form, and the frozen body of a drowned governess can give them just that. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, let's get this over with. It's Christmas in a month, and I don't want to be here till Christmas reviewing this piece of shit. Yep, you heard it from the off. The Snowmen is a shit Doctor Who story, and I'm not going to apologise for my opinion. Oh, what is going on with this show? Like, seriously, what is going on with Stephen Moffat? I just don't think that this guy cares. He does not give a damn about this show, with the way these scripts are turning out. Oh, The Snowmen is just as dull, just as pointless as I remembered it to be. I fell asleep the first time I watched this story. You could sell this story as a sleeping aid and you'd make millions out of it. The Snowmen is just so crap. It's so boring. It's so dull and lifeless. Nothing happens in this story. This is a filler Doctor Who story. The very definition of filler is the Snowmen, the Doctor Who story. I mean, I don't want to be negative, but I'm just being honest. I do not like this story. I think it is terrible. I'll give it this. It is a marginal, microscopic, wafer-thin improvement over The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, because it's not quite as dumb as that story. It's not quite as stupid as that story, but that is not a compliment. the plot is so paper thin. Literally, these snowmen are terrible. And there's also something to do with the Great Intelligence as well that formed a bond, an attachment with this guy called Dr. Simeon, played by Richard D. Grant, when he was a kid. You know, the Great Intelligence is voiced by Ian McKellen, and together they're working together to create an army of snowmen and take over the world. Yeah, it's something like that. And for some reason, they need the DNA of this governess because she's been frozen in this pond, and it's just crap. It's just a load of convoluted, silly crap. I mean, is the story all bad? No, it's not entirely a disaster. There are good things about it. Matt Smith is good as the Doctor. I mean, he's certainly trying. I mean, his Doctor is certainly it's taking a bit of a different performance in the beginning because the Doctor is depressed. He's basically been living on this cloud since the departure of Amy and Rory, and he's been depressed. He's just been grieving and mourning for them. And when the word pond is said to him on the phone, that is actually quite clever. I'll give the script that. That was a clever way to kind of bring the Doctor back into the action, because obviously he's grieving for Amy and Rory Pond, but also the governess is under a pond to which they need to investigate, and obviously that word will obviously be a bit of an emotional nerve touch there for the Doctor. Matt Smith is good as the Doctor. I do like him in this story, and he does kind of get back to his usual self as the story goes on. He has changed his costume. His costume is a little bit weird to get used to at first, after him wearing his suit for so long in the previous 2 seasons, and well, 2.5 seasons. I don't mind his purple costume. I don't know which one I prefer. I'm sort of leaning more towards his original one, but I do quite like the new costume. It does suit him, and it gives his Doctor a kind of more old-fashioned look, which I think is quite nice. And the new TARDIS is kind of interesting. It's a little smaller. It's, well, much smaller than the previous console. But I like the blue colours. It does look kind of cool. And it is the TARDIS that will be around for a few more years. Certainly until the end of Peter Capaldi's run. So we're going to be enjoying this TARDIS for a little bit longer than the last one. Also, I mean, the Paternoster gang, I actually quite like them. I don't think they're that bad. Everyone seems to hate them. I don't know why. I think they're pretty decent characters. Granted, they're not my favourite characters in the show, and, you know, I definitely think there are better allies. But for this story, they serve the purpose quite well. Jenny and Vastra are good. I like the one-word scene. That's kind of cool. And Strax is there for comic relief. Like, he keeps going on about grenades and everything. But he's not too bad. I think they're okay. I don't think they need to have that much hate. Granted, their best performance is probably in A Good Man Goes to War. I thought they were great allies in that story. And they'll be featured a bit more in Peter Capaldi's era, because obviously Matt Smith was not going to have much longer left in the role. So, yeah, we'll enjoy them here while we can. I just think the villains of this story, they suck. The villains are terrible. And their plan is so ridiculous. They want to just create an army of snowmen to take over the world. It's that stupid. Richard D. Grant is so hollow, so one note as Dr. Simeon. It's just such a bland performance. I mean, he is quite a monotone actor anyway, so it doesn't feel like he's doing anything that's much different compared to his other roles, but it just would be nice to think that he would have given this character something, but he's just dull, he's expressionless, and there's no emotional weight to his character whatsoever. And as for Ian McKellen voicing the Great Intelligence, God, Sir Ian McKellen, one of the best actors on the planet, wasted. Totally fucking wasted as the Great Intelligence. And, you know, we hear his voice a few times in the story, but otherwise, what a waste. What an absolute waste. And the snowmen themselves, they're so dumb. They are so easy to take down. They are no threat whatsoever. More to the point, they don't actually do anything in the story. But the worst scene in this story, one of the worst scenes anyway, is when the Doctor says to Clara, just imagine them melting. And then it happens within 2 seconds. So literally, that's as easy as it is to take these creatures down. You just think of them melting. That's it. How fucking dumb is that? You know, I think, you know, Moffat just removed any tension, any sort of added scare factor that this story could have had. It feels like this story was played more for light comedic fun rather than scary, you know, edge-of-your-seat thrills, which I think is what it probably needed, because the pace of this story, oh my god. The pacing in this story is so fucking slow. It's a waste of an hour. It's an absolute waste of an hour. Addressing the elephant in the room here, Jenna Coleman as Clara. Yeah, I really like Jenna Coleman's performance as the character. I mean, we'll get more into Clara as the rest of the Matt Smith reviews go on, but I think the script did not serve her well at all. I just hate the way Moffat has written her character. I just think she's too cocky, she's overly confident, she's too sassy, she's too sure of herself. I feel like Moffat has just written an archetype character. That's my problem, and I don't think you could set her apart from some of the other characters. They've tried so hard to make her a strong female character, and I think it's backfired. I think they've made someone who's actually kind of annoying. I hate to say that, but a lot of her one-liners and her sassiness and her quippiness, it annoyed me. And again, not Jenna's fault. Jenna is trying her best. She is delivering a great performance. It's the script. The script is not doing her justice, and I'm sorry to say this, but I just don't like Clara. I just don't think she's a good character. We'll go into more detail about that in the next few reviews, but suffice to say, I mean, Jenna gives a great performance. You know, again, her use of accents in this story is really good, the way she's changing from a Cockney accent to a more well-spoken one. And her chemistry with Matt Smith is certainly there. But as a character, Clara just doesn't do it for me. Also, why did they add in the kiss? Why does she kiss the Doctor? And it's ridiculous. Once again, we're going back to all these sexual references, which don't need to be there. Like, Clara's looking at the Doctor's arse when he's climbing the ladder. The Doctor mentions, oh, you're going to have to take your clothes off or something, because she couldn't get through the door or something. Ugh, or the window, sorry. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, I just think the first half of this story is so dull. The Doctor's just moping around about how he misses Amy and Rory and how he doesn't help anymore. And it's just, this isn't the Doctor. I mean, come on, Doctor. I mean, I get it. He's suffering great personal loss, but it takes too long for the Doctor to get back into the story. That's my problem. And whilst I think the Paternoster Gang are good characters for what they are, they can't carry this entire episode. And I don't think Jenna Coleman can carry the entire episode either. The finale and the climax are lame. The attempts at comedy in this story are okay. I mean, I did laugh a couple of times at Strax. But honestly, I just couldn't care less for this story. Fucking ending of this story. What the hell? Clara is thrown off of the cloud. She's by the governess. She's pulled over the edge of the TARDIS and she falls to her death. Why? I mean, I understand they were trying to do this probably for shock value and for the fact that it was going to be some twist. But again, we all knew at this point that Clara was going to be the new companion. It had been announced in the press. Once Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill had left, it was kind of announced that Jenna Coleman was going to take over within that year. So I just think it's stupid the way that they killed her off and that it was treated as such a dramatic death. And then it was all it was so that the Doctor could see the grave and recognise her name. Because during the episode, he doesn't seem to twig that it's the same voice. I mean, I know he says that he didn't see the face of Oswin in Asylum of the Daleks. But still, you would have thought he would have picked up on the voice a little bit sooner. But no. And then, obviously, at the end, we see Clara in the modern day looking at the grave. So we know there's other versions of Clara across the universe. And the mystery is how and why. And, well, tune in for the rest of Series 7 to find out. I suppose Murray Gold's soundtrack isn't bad either, but again, the Snowmen, oh, this is just such a boring story. I really don't like it, so I'm going to give the Snowmen a 3 out of 10. Yeah, it's not the worst ever, but it's really disappointing. Especially after The Angels Take Manhattan. I wanted something better than that, but sadly not. But anyway, that's my review of The Snowmen. What do you think of this story? Please comment down below. Let me know. And stay tuned next time when we continue with Series 7, where we review Episode 6, The Bells of St. John. So until then, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. Thank you for watching. See ya. Bye for now.